It was one of those flawless Saturday mornings, the kind where the air feels like a cool kiss on your skin and the world hasn't yet woken up to ruin your mood. I'd been VYing in Willow Creek Estates for 6 months, long enough to carve out a weekend ritual, a bike ride through the neighborhood's quiet streets, my way of unwinding from a grueling week at the architecture firm. The hum of my tires on the pavement was practically meditative until a voice sliced through the calm like a fire alarm. "Stop right there." I nearly toppled off my bike, slamming the brakes as a woman in her 50s, with a sharp brunette bob and sunglasses big enough to double as a windshield, leaped out from behind a perfectly trimmed hedge. She planted herself in my path, arms flung wide like she was directing traffic at rush hour. "This is unauthorized wheeled transport," she barked, her voice bouncing off the silent cul-de-sac. "Do you have a permit for that bicycle?" I steadied myself, heart pounding, and blinked at her. "A permit," I managed, still processing the absurdity. She whipped out a clipboard from thin air, her face glowing with the kind of smug authority that makes your skin crawl. "HOA regulations require all recreational vehicles to have proper documentation," she said, jabbing a pen at me. "Show me your ID and bicycle registration. Now." I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. "Ma'am, I live here on Maple Lane," I said, pointing to my house just down the road. "I've never heard of a bike needing a permit." She let out a scoff that was equal parts pity and disdain. "Clearly, you haven't read your HOA bulletins. I'm Linda Harper, president of the Homeowners Association, and I take this community's safety and aesthetic standards very seriously." I'd heard whispers about Linda from neighbors, the woman who'd measure your lawn with a ruler and snap photos of trash, cans left out, an hour past curfew, but meeting her in the flesh was something else. I'd moved to Willow Creek after a promotion, drawn by its tidy homes and serene VYB, just far enough from downtown to feel like an escape. The HOA fees stung, but the sparkling community pool and pristine landscaping seemed worth it. Nobody warned me those fees were funding Linda's clipboard and her apparent mission to rule the neighborhood like a dictator. I mumbled an excuse and pedaled off, veering onto another street to avoid her. I figured it was a one-time outburst, a weird quirk of an overzealous busybody. I was wrong. The next weekend, I'd barely rolled out of my driveway when I heard the frantic whir of another bike behind me. I glanced back to see Linda, decked out in brand-new cycling gear-reflective vest, a helmet that screamed Tour de France, chasing me down like I was a fugitive. "You're ignoring our conversation," she shouted, pulling up beside me with surprising speed for someone who looked like she hadn't biked since the 80s. "You're on official notice. The HOA board will address your violations at our next meeting." I slowed, trying to reason with her. "Linda," I checked the homeowner packet. "There's nothing about bike permits." She flashed a triumphant grin. "The new rules haven't been distributed yet, but as president, I'm enforcing them early. Safety first." I stared, dumbfounded, as she pedaled off, her vest glowing like a warning sign. Soon, laminated signs sprouted at every neighborhood entrance. "Permitted recreational vehicles only. Violators reported." They looked like a middle schooler's our project, but Linda stood guard nearby, clipboard poised, ready to pounce. What got me wasn't her obsession with my bike height, was when I saw her cornering Mrs. Kim's 8-year-old son, Tim, over his new birthday scooter. The poor kid was on the verge of tears as Linda lectured him about wheeled conveyance protocols. I stepped in, and she whirled on me, hissing, "This is the kind of troublemaking I expect from someone who doesn't respect our community's character." The way she spat character made it sound like a code for something uglier. I started documenting every run-in, sensing this could get worse. 3 weeks later, it did. I was working from home when my doorbell rang. 2 police officers stood on my porch, looking like they'd rather be anywhere else. "Sir, we got a complaint about reckless cycling," the taller one said, racing through the streets, nearly hitting pedestrians, creating a hazard. I and VY-Ted them in, showed them my road, bike hardly a stunt machine, and explained Linda's campaign. Their eyes lit with recognition. "You're not the first," the officer sighed. "Mrs. Harper's been keeping dispatch busy." They left, promising to note the complaint as baseless, but I was done playing defense. I requested the full HOA bylaws and spent 2 days combing through them. No mention of bike permits, but plenty about harassment and unauthorized signage. Armed with this, I rallied neighbors who'd also suffered Linda's wrath citations for bird feeders, complaints about ethnic cooking smells. 7 households compiled a report, complete with photos, dates, and bylaw references. 3 HOA board members, also Linda's targets, were eager to help. The board called an emergency meeting. Linda strutted in, clipboard in hand, her usual swagger intact until she saw our presentation. Her signs, our complaints, the bylaws she twisted. As the board chair read the clause on conduct unbecoming of an officer, her confidence crumbled. "This is a conspiracy," she shouted, knocking over a chair. "I've protected this community from declining standards." She stormed out, vowing revenge. We thought it was just talk until the playground incident. I was biking home, permit-free, when I heard screams from the community park. Linda was towering over 2 10-year-old twins, Mia and Sophie Clark, trying to seize their scooters. "These are contraband," she yelled. When Mia tried to scoot away, Linda grabbed the handlebars, causing her to fall. Mrs. Clark, watching from her porch, sprinted over, phone recording. "Get away from my girls," she demanded. Linda, spotting the phone, lunged for it, VYing Mrs. Clark so hard she stumbled. Someone called 911. This time, the police didn't come to chat. They arrested Linda for assault, noting her history of false reports. At her hearing, the courtroom buzzed with Willow Creek residents, myself included. Linda sat rigid, glaring at us as the judge, a no-nonsense woman with glasses perched low, listed the charges: harassment, disorderly conduct, assault, false reports. Her lawyer's defense that she was enforcing standards collapsed when the prosecutor presented the bylaws and her fabricated rules. "Mrs. Harper," the judge said, "glasses off. This court frowns on those who waste police resources and terrorize neighbors under false authority." She handed down 6 months probation, a DULA, $5,000 fine, 200 hours of community service, and a restraining order barring Linda from contacting us. The final blow, a 5-year ban from any HOA role. Linda's face went white. "I've been president for 11 years, she whispered, voice cracking. "Those are my roads." As the gavel fell, Willow Creek exhaled. Linda's reign was over, but the scars lingered. We'd reclaimed our streets, but her abuse of power left a bitter taste. A reminder of how one person's obsession can fracture a community. Still, as I biked home that evening, the air felt lighter, the streets truly ours again.